Good day, all, and thank you for joining our class today. We are starting a new unit, CHCLEG001, which is work legally and ethically in healthcare industry. So CHCLEG001, it talks more about the compliance, what we need to do to be on the right path of the professionalism that we are doing, what we need to do or what we are likely to do wrong, and what is expected of us in line with the state and territory that we are operating in. Not forgetting about the ethics that the healthcare industry also come with. So in this particular unit, we're going to be talking more about what are those legal and ethical considerations that come together with our course, which is Certificate 3 in Individual Support. Legal and ethical. While there are many laws governing the aged care sector, they fall into two broad categories. One of them is the criminal law. The criminal law, which deals with crime against people such as theft, assault, battery, or unlawful restraint that we see in our healthcare industry nowadays. We are expected to be wary of not finding ourselves in these particular shoes. Other than the criminal law, we have the civil law. The civil law dealt with the rights and obligation of people. This include our rights to provide the right service to our clients, which most of the time we can refer to as duty of care. While ethics is the conduct, ethical conduct means choosing the best action to promote the rights of our clients. Some of the ethical principles include non-maleficence, meaning not doing harm. A situation whereby we can say that we are actually acting in non-maleficence is when we are supporting a client and we believe they are likely to injure themselves or others. If we suggest or if we give them the PRN in that situation, we are not giving that PRN to restrain them in any way, but to keep them from harming themselves nor others. So in that situation, we are acting in the scope of non-maleficence. Beneficence, that is meaning doing good. At all time, it is part of our responsibility to provide the best service that our clients need in order for them to actually function well, or in order for them to feel fulfilled with whatever they are doing. If by any chance we are not doing this appropriately, or the support we are providing them is not good enough, then they are not really benefiting from it. So that means we are actually going against this principle, this ethical principle of beneficence. Autonomy means promoting the rights of people in our care, either old or disability, and this right to govern their own life. As an individual, no matter what you're going through in life, it is our responsibility as a healthcare provider as a individual support worker or as a aged care carer to always support our clients in achieving their autonomy by giving them the right information and giving them the appropriate support that will enable them to actually decide what they believe is best for them. And last but not the least is the justice, meaning treating people equally. According to the Human Rights Act, everyone has right to life, right to shelter, right to education. We don't say because someone is having a chronic illness or they are old or even they are having challenges with disability, we believe that we can do away with their rights. That would be unjust. And in that situation, we are actually going against our ethical responsibility towards our clients. So, ethics is different from moral. We need to really understand this. Ethics is what we are really expected in line with our responsibility to carry out, while moral are culturally banned and often most of the time it's often based on religion basis. So ethical practice occur when workers look beyond their home view and values to what is best for their client, and they assist them in determining, or they assist the client in determining what the client believes is best for them. So at all time, we should and we are expected to provide ethical support for our clients at all time. There's few interrelationship between the law and ethics, or what we say the legal representation of what we are doing, as well as ethics. Some of the interrelationship between them, the law is written agreement that we have in the society, which dictate the appropriate and acceptable conduct that we display towards each other. And it is the foundation of our society, which of course make the society exist, as we are expected to follow the appropriate rule if we all agree to abide by them and maintain its very existence. The motivation or the motivating force behind our agreement to follow the law is our understanding and assent to the concept that those we empower to enforce or execute, as well as administering this law, we do so in a manner that is true, honest, and unemotional in its delivery, which in other words, we expect them to, it is ethical in fashion. So without ethics, or without an ethical delivery of the law, the law become a weapon and tool for deceit and treachery towards the very society the law was designed actually to protect and enhance. So we can see that law and ethics, they work hand in hand. If you are working as an healthcare provider now, or if you're working as a carer, it is a law that you don't steal from your client. If peradventure you go ahead and do this, it is against your ethics as a professional in that field as well. So law and ethics, they are interrelated in so many ways, and without one, the second might not be able to really function as they actually expected to. So, however, there are still some difference between legal and ethical. Some of the differences that we can find out includes legal demands an absolute subjection to its rule and command. When you said something is legal, it is 100% bounding on everyone to always follow through or always abide by. Also, legally has enforcing authority derived from the state, the territory, local government, or whoever is putting it, or even the court. The legal that is being imposed upon men is outer to their life. That is, it is expected for everyone to follow or abide by this law and regulates the male relationship with others in the society. While ethical, in the other hand, when we are talking about ethics demand that men should act from a sense of ethical duty. That is, they should act in a way that the professionality actually lay down. Ethical also has no such enforcing authority from the state. If you are expected to do a choice, or if you are expected to look after your client, ethically, probably they expect you to follow some policies and procedure. However, those policies and procedure, they are not binding, or they are not in line with the state's law. So if the organization has their own internal mechanism that comes up with how they do their things, that is ethically binding on that particular organization. So if you go against this, of course, your organization can sanction you. However, the state has nothing to do with it. So the state have no authority when it comes to ethical. Ethical is anonymous, that is coming from inner life of a man. It's not outer life like law. Legal law is heterogeneous. And ethical is governed by the inner life of man, just as I said earlier. It comes from internal, that is your value, your belief, some of your understanding, and or what is expected actually from you to be part of an organization. That is the organization value, their mission and vision. And just as we said earlier, some of the similarities include preventing any wrongdoing. So both ethical and legal aspect of our job is working together in order for us, or in order to prevent us from doing anything wrong. It also shapes our behavior towards our clients, our job, other team member. Some of the similarities also helps in achieving the standard, that is the industrial standard that is expected, and it forbids us from harming other people. Some type of legal issue and response include legislation, staffing, non-compliance, privacy, and confidentiality. Legislation. Legislation, these are the law that is guiding against us doing wrong towards our staff, towards others, and towards our client. All organization is expected to follow the state legislation as well as the law. Staffing. According to the organization, or according to the law, we are expected to have the right staff for the right job, and those staffing or those staff member is expected to actually have the expected or the right qualification to be able to carry out the job safely as well, which leads us to non-compliance. Some organizations engage staff members that are not competent enough to actually carry out the task given to them. For example, if you after the end of your course, you are working alongside some staff members that they don't have the qualification to do the job, and they don't have the right experience to do that particular job. If they are engaged and they are put in that area, then there is a very big risk. That means the organization is not conforming, or they are not complying with what the law says, and there is a lot of there might be a sanction if such a thing actually identified, and it can even involve withdrawing the license of that particular organization. Privacy and confidentiality. This is very, very important in our line of duty, because as healthcare provider, privacy and confidentiality, it's a mandatory and it's a legal binding thing. According to the Privacy Act of 1988, we are expected to get appropriate information from our client. All those information that we gather from our clients needs to be safe and needs to be guided or documented appropriately. They need to be stored away, and it's only those people that are expected to know about it that we actually give access for them to actually know about such information. And this information can only be released with the consent of the particular of our client. If the client does not give their consent, we cannot give out such information, and the only time that such information will be released is if there is possibility of someone's life is at risk, or if the police or other authority requested us or compelled us to actually provide such information. Type of ethical issue and response. All organizations, as I said earlier, they have their own attitude and values, which has to do with the mission and vision statement. So if you are going into any organization now, during the interview, they will try to understand, do you have the same understanding as them? Do you value the same thing? Likewise, you are even going to an organization, what is your own attitude? What is your own value? Is your value in line with this organization that you want to join? If it is not, then it's better for you not to join them, because you might not really feel comfortable in that environment. Other than our own attitude and values, we have culture, we have religion. If there is any issue that is identified in any of these situations, we just need to report to our supervisor appropriately. So workplace policies and procedure. A policy is a set of rules and regulations that provide guidance about the outcomes, while the procedure provides step-by-step instruction of meeting the requirement of that particular policies. So policies and procedure, they work hand in hand in helping residential care provider and workers to meet their legal obligation in a safe and efficient manner. If you have an organization that they don't have policies and procedures in place, there is a possibility of making a lot of mistakes. And in our line of duty, we can't make a mistake because we are dealing with life. So it is very, very important that we have a solid understanding and a solid policies and procedure in place that guide against any form of mistake that we are likely to be facing. Some of the policies and procedure that is expected to be put in place by any organization include the following: quality assurance policies and procedure, continuous improvement quality and procedure, occupational health and safety policies and procedure, hygiene and infection control, manual handling and lifting, equipment maintenance, medication management, information management, privacy and confidentiality, compliance and grievances. All these policies and procedure can be breakdown into different steps. All this policy will have a procedure that will actually tell us more about what we want to achieve and how we are intending to achieve them. So it comes from what are the guidelines. Then we need to ask the question how. Once you have what the guidelines is, that is your policy. So how are you going to achieve those guidelines? That is your procedure. Procedure answers how. While what are the standards? What is it? What is it that we need to do? Those are the standards. And why is the policy that? Why do we need to actually do this thing? That is the policy itself. Policy answers why. So policy development involves identifying needs, gathering appropriate information that is needed to actually resolve or to find solution to that particular needs. You draft and even consult as well as to review what you've put in place. So the stages for development or stages of policy development include identifying the needs, identify who will take the lead responsibility in achieving that particular need, gather appropriate information that is needed. Then after you have all this, you can now draft your policy. Once the policy is drafted, consult the appropriate person to let them know that the policies has been drafted, and finally gets the policy approved by the authorized people. Also, we need to consider whether the policy are required, what level of implementation, how are we going to implement this policy. Once we implement the policy, we need to monitor and review as well as revise if there is a need for us to make some adjustment. And this is where we are going to call it a day today. I will see you all in the next class. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.